In this episode, we're going to crown the greatest centre-back in Premier League history.
Van Dijk is beautiful to watch as a footballer as well, whereas John Terry is a little bit of a clogger, old-fashioned.
Dad, you're an idiot.
I got it. I'll borrow it. Next time we come here, I'll bring it.
I don't want the bloody book. I don't.
It's weird, isn't it? Why is he so underrated, Flav?
Just vote. I'm voting John Terry.
Capello picked Terry over Ferdinand.
But Capello, how successful was he as England manager?
Not the point. Capello. What's happening, everyone, and welcome to WHFC, brought to you by Final One Standing, football's ultimate free-to-play eliminator game. On this episode, we're playing a game of Final One Standing to work out who is the greatest centre-back in Premier League history. Easy.
Is it?
Isn't it?
I don't know about that.
If everyone does the right thing here, this is going to be a smooth
Does the
episode.
right thing.
Does the right, the fair and correct.
Okay,
the
well,
just
so who
thing.
are we starting with?
Okay, we'll start with Virgil van Dijk or John Terry.
Oof.
And again, I implore you to all do the right thing. Don't look at me like that.
It's tough. It's close. It's close, isn't it? Yeah, Champions League.
close.
Champions League. Van Dijk is beautiful to watch as a footballer as well, whereas John Terry is a little bit of a clogger, old-fashioned.
See, Dad, you're an idiot.
No, I'm not an idiot. I watched him play, and I have an opinion.
Clogger, no.
I have an opinion of him, and this is what it
You
is.
can have a wrong opinion and therefore be called an
No,
idiot.
but I can
If I
tell.
said the capital of Ireland is Antwerp, you'd go, you're an idiot.
He doesn't strike the ball the way that Van Dijk strikes the ball. There's a poetry to the way that, and he defends with grace. Whereas
What are you
John Terry
talking
would
about?
just smash people.
This is nonsense. You're better than this. John Terry, you're talking about past. What was your thing about hitting the ball with what? Panache. Is that the word you used?
Is that how we describe defenders these days?
John Terry would
said
literally
poetry.
start poetry. John Terry, you know this whole thing, it drives me mad. You know this whole fallacy about Rio Ferdinand being a particularly cultured defender and John Terry being this clogger is the word you used.
Bit of a clogger.
It's complete nonsense. John Terry would spray the ball, start Chelsea's attacks far more than any centre-half that you're comparing
hang
him
on a
to.
second, like-
John Terry would play his
like
left
Dijk.
foot. John Terry, left foot ball, over the top to Florian Malouda, over the top to Ashley
standard,
Cole.
that's standard,
Left
that's
foot,
bare
left
minimum
foot
for the-
70-yard pass.
But bare minimum for the
It is weak. Show me one of those for
It's the
Rio
bare
Ferdinand.
minimum.
Literally
Centre
one.
backs on this list, barring one.
No,
So-
it isn't.
Yeah,
No, it isn't. John Terry on the ball is the best on the ball defender that we're going to discuss.
There won't be a single person watching this who thinks that John Terry has a better.
Because of the narrative of that you've just talked about.
Well, no,
Because
no.
people like you use the word clogger.
No, listen. There won't be a single person watching this who doesn't think that Van Dijk has better distribution than John Terry. And it isn't because there
they
is some
would.
sort of
they would.
conspiracy
They would
against
think,
him.
They would think that, or they're wrong.
Well, that's-
John Terry is a far better on the ball defender than Virgil van Dijk. John Terry's ball distribution skills
I've made
far better.
I don't know, because okay, the balls over the top is one thing, but breaking the lines, I think Van Dijk's better between between players passing along the ground. I think Van Dijk beats.
I think that the game's also changed, though. Like with John Terry, it was about being a little bit more direct. It was playing those balls in behind. Football was completely different. And now it is about those passes, holding possession. I don't think John Terry couldn't do that. The technique with your weaker foot to play those passes is very, very good. And I think John Terry is slightly underrated on the ball.
He is.
But Virgil van Dijk is also rated on the ball because we see it. We see the clips of him playing those passes to Salah or breaking that. And again, very, very good defender. But I think John Terry's a better defender and he's slightly underrated on the ball. Part of the Chelsea team that conceded how many goals, Rory?
15.
15 goals.
Do you know some records? So I think some records are to be broken and some records will just live forever. Annoyingly, I think their invincible thing is one of those records that just stands the test of time. I don't think anyone will ever concede less than 15.
That's mad.
It's
It's absolutely
mental.
mad.
Yeah, it's crazy.
38 games, 15
There was
goals.
4 other players in the defence, though.
No, absolutely. Do you know
Hey,
what?
but John Terry was the captain of that back four. He was the leader.
that
That's
back
it. He organised. You can't
Someone
ignore
said
that.
because he wore a bit of material around his arm. That
It was
made him-
actually, yeah.
Why are you dismissing your captain?
I'm just saying
because
that
your
you're-
captain
you're-
turned his back on you.
Whoa.
What it is?
We're
Is
not
that why
even
you're
there
dismissing-
yet.
No, but we will be.
We don't need to be here,
Don't worry, I'm
Dave.
We're not
prepared
making
for it.
personal early. We can do it early.
Listen to me. You're talking from this position. You're just like, I'm a Chelsea fan. I love John Terry. Blah, 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 blah. That's all that I'm hearing. Right from these two is what I want to hear because your point really is.
They've spoke a lot of sense.
Turkish.
Are you
I'd say
saying
John
John Terry?
over Virgil van Dijk. yeah.
Happens.
Turkish John Terry or Van Dijk.
What, you're just asking for my pick now, yeah?
Yeah. Oh, can I do that?
Since you're taking over.
Sorry. Yeah, I am. Yeah, I'm. What's your pick?
Wait, can I just
I think
ask
all
a
round-
just before we do it, can I just ask a quick question, just with talking about the defensive qualities. Is there anything in this, and there might not be, but just to bring it up, is there anything in the fact that when John Terry was at his peak, and this is applicable to a lot of the other players we're going to talk about, in that era of football, centre forward were different. They were harder to play against. You look at Tottenham, a team that won basically nothing in that period. They had 3 of the best centre forwards in the league. They had Robbie Keane at the same time as having Dimitar Berbatov, at the same time as having Jermaine Defoe. They weren't a brilliant team then.
Was it
but
more
they had
difficult
brilliant,
to defend?
Was it harder? Every week you were playing against brilliant striker after brilliant striker after
less,
brilliant.
less predictable than it is right now.
Yeah, and
Realistically
the referees
now,
were less protective.
People now tell me Ollie Watkins a wicked footballer. Like, he's one of the better strikers in the league. He wouldn't have got a game for anyone. He wouldn't have got a game for anyone then.
That is a good point.
Very different.
Is there truth?
Ollie Watkins would have been all right back in the day, I think. But I agree with you. It's more about you playing up against someone, right? 4-4-2 was big.
Yeah.
So you're going to be up against a player every single week. And it could be an ugly
Good
striker.
centre forwards as well. You look at teams that weren't particularly good, and I use Tottenham as an example.
Kevin Davis.
You look at teams, but,
James Beattie.
but like Tottenham,
Nolan Davies.
Dimitar Berbatov, like they were less good. They were more physical but less good. Dimitar Berbatov was playing for a Tottenham team for large parts of his Premier League career, a Tottenham team that weren't particularly good, but he is one of the best centre forwards in my opinion that I've ever seen play. That demonstrates quite how good, because you had a player of Dimitar Berbatov's quality who was nowhere near the best striker in the league playing for Tottenham, who weren't at the top of the league. Like now, who are the centre forwards?
We scouted him, found him in Germany and brought him over. That's why he was playing for us.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then he was bought by the best team in the league.
Yeah, absolutely. But there was a serious period of time where one of the best strikers in the league was playing for a team that was finishing between
the
fifth
point
and eighth.
is how difficult must it have been to defend.
But
when
I
that
also-
is
I
happening.
Everyone had
that
good
era.
strikers.
I also would say that era of the Premier League was probably the most competitive they were in the Champions League.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Liverpool won it in 2005.
An all English
Chelsea,
final in 08.
United, all English final. I think there's a lot of quality there, and I don't think we're at that same quality with Virgil. I think, you look at City, look at Liverpool. They were far away from everyone else in that period when Virgil van Dijk was at his best. There used to be 4, 5, 6 teams that would be very, very competitive.
It's not Van Dijk's fault.
Let's say 4.
But I think it was a harder job to be a defender when Terry was at his best.
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was.
Does that change anything for you?
No, Van Dijk. I won't say Van Dijk, but I will acknowledge how great John Terry.
Okay, so to a vote, I say John Terry.
Terry.
Van Dijk.
The hate decides it for me, Terry.
Terry. Okay, let's move on. It's John Terry, therefore, versus Tony Adams.
The clogger. Can bring that
Again,
one back up.
this is another
saying it, the
another
clogger.
great example of somebody whose reputation has been totally tarnished by time.
Yeah.
He was an immense footballer. I think he got very unlucky. I think Van Basten, that early England game that I've only seen on the telly, I think Van Basten scored a hat-trick against England and kind of left him for dead. But it was Van Basten. Do you know? Like, it was Van Basten. Yeah.
You mentioned it earlier on another video we did, but in terms that defence was Keown, but it wasn't just Keown. Bold
Dixon,
and
Dixon.
Dixon Winter. But it was just so difficult. Like, and I remember vividly going, "We're going to play Arsenal, but we won't score."
1-0 to the Arsenal.
Yeah.
Pet Shop Boys in Paris off the back of an Ian Wright goal. If you want to know where that was created.
Big. George Graham, with Tony Adams at the centre of all of it, created one of the most impenetrable defences that you'll ever see in this league. And Tony Adams was just world class.
Easy.
But people watching this might not remember just how good he
I
was.
think he was so good. Like, obviously, Turkish, you could talk about this all day, but I think that Tony Adams' reputation is so disrespected, and it just doesn't make sense to me. He is one of the best centre-halves that England has ever produced.
It's because of the modern day thinking that, you've got to be able to play football to be the standard of a good player. Whereas back then a defender just had to defend. And that era, Tony Adams, I think John Terry talked about looking up to Adams at some points in his career. So he won the league.
He was also an iconic captain, just in terms of what he means. I don't think it's wrong to call him that. Like,
No.
call him Mr. Arsenal.
I was speaking to last year now, Petit. There was a little session with Petit. I was speaking to him. I asked him because he was captained by Adams, Deschamps for France, and Pep Guardiola for Barca. And I just asked him, who was the captain that got the most out of you? Who did you feel the most? And he said, by far, Adams. Really? By far. And we're talking Deschamps and Pep here, two greats of the game as well, not just playing wise, but managerial wise too. Petit didn't hesitate. He said, Adams, you want to play for him, you want to fight for him, you want to kill for him.
This has all been nice, but versus John Terry, I'm having John Terry every day.
I understand.
Does it matter that he's not won the Champions League and all the accolades that John Terry had?
He's the only captain, though, to won. He won the title in 3 decades.
80s, 90s, 2000s.
So the consistency is
89, 98, 02.
Think about for England as well.
The goal to win it against Everton.
Think about the story
that
as
is
well.
quite generous.
You ever
When
read his
say
book?
free generous? What have I read?
Yeah,
Tony
it was-
Adams' book.
It's pretty
Funnily
addictive.
enough, no.
It's fantastic. It's well, no, genuinely, it's really,
It
really
is.
It's all
It
about
is.
Arsenal, though, isn't it?
No, it's
No,
not.
it's
It's
personal,
not.
it's
No.
personal.
No,
I got it. I'll borrow it.
It's
Next time we come here, I'll bring
I
it.
don't want the bloody book. I don't.
Mine's signed as well. So.
Signed, you could
brilliant book.
Just that free, just pick you up on that 3 decades thing. If one of them's 3 years apart but happen to be in another decade,
Yeah,
you've been a
we're
little
not
bit
talking
kind.
like
Are we talking?
what?
Maldini, great
You
defenders.
said the 3 decades. But
Yeah.
one of
80s, 90s, 2000.
Yeah, but you said 89 and 2002.
89, 98, 02.
He sneaked in, is what you're saying, yeah?
All right, okay. Look, maybe I'm over at this
No,
point.
I get where you're coming from. He sneaked into the...
Yes.
Well, because it was 89. If
Yeah,
it had been 80,
sneaked
if it had
in.
been
If it had been
87,
85, yeah, 82 would have been good.
but the reason why we're talking up Tony Adams so much is because the answer is John Terry, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
but
think
it's
so.
important to acknowledge.
gotta get it in.
We have.
Oh, I think-
acknowledge
yeah, I
the
think we have.
brilliance of Adams.
I think we have.
Also, that win in '89 was probably the best title win that anyone has ever. Better than the Aguero moment.
This is going away to Anfield.
Yep.
And
Needed
to
a
win
2-goal win.
needing to score 2.
it was Mick
Last
Thomas.
minute.
You heard of the treble before?
Nowhere near as
No,
good.
title win, we're talking, you know.
Yeah, but we went away to Newcastle. Great game.
Okay, look, I think we've given Tony Adams a props, but in terms of a vote, Terry,
Yeah.
Terry.
John Terry.
fair enough. I don't disrespect it at all.
Great work if you're still in final one standing by William Hill. But who are you picking this week? If you've been knocked out, hard luck, but don't worry. A new Jackpot League is released every week for you to join. Just check out the final one standing page on the William Hill app for all the details. 18 plus, UK and Ireland only, and always gamble responsibly.
Okay, so John Terry versus Sol Campbell.
Flav.
Sol Campbell, right?
Flav, this is tight.
Yeah.
Tight this
You
one.
give us your opinion.
it's
but
tight.
you saw him in the academy.
You
and that.
saw
I wanna
him come
know
through,
that.
come through your club. You know, he's a heartbeat of your club and that. He's a jewel in the crown. And
On
that.
the League Cup
Loved it, didn't he?
99, right?
Came through as a centre forward, didn't he?
Yeah.
Come through as he scored. I remember I was actually at White Hart Lane. Eddie Newton.
I was
Eddie
at the
Newton
game.
scored.
Yes, I
We
was at
beat
the
you.
game. Yeah, I remember it.
We beat you.
Best day of your life.
Consolation.
Look, I can't. You're asking me to have a sensible conversation about someone who I just cannot respect, and you know he is by far one of the most problematic people in the history of Tottenham.
You definitely went to a thesaurus there because it could have used a different word.
There were so many things. There's so many things I have and would say about him. I couldn't. I have so little respect for him.
Do you know what?
Is Legend one of them?
Maybe we should.
Legend is not.
Maybe we should explore this because, and I respect it. There is definitely a place for tribalism and hating football, and you are that. But we should discuss it because he can't be rational.
I can't.
Yeah,
I
It'd
can't.
be like asking me to talk about Rafael Benitez. I can't do it.
I can't do it.
So let's actually discuss Sol Campbell now from our point of view. One of the best centre halves to have ever
On his
played
day.
in the yeah.
On his day.
In terms of on his day, absolutely immense. Like impenetrable. Like, you know, the generation older than us would talk about Des Walker and they sing, you never beat Des Walker. The only defender I've ever really thought about being that, you know, that just totally...
So you can't beat him. He's quicker, he's faster,
Yeah,
he's stronger.
You can't
he
get
can
no way
anticipate
around him.
better.
No way around him.
He's got it
the
all.
way Man United fans talk about Paul McGrath a bit.
Yeah.
There is no way around him. He is a wall and there is nothing you can do about it.
And I think that would be, on his day, is a good point where you could put him very contestable to a John Terry on his day. But I think the longevity maybe of Sol Campbell is where you'd maybe look at John Terry and you'd put him
That's where it falls off.
higher. I think that's where it falls off.
Quality
I think
for quality. bang
If,
for
if
bang
we were
is-
looking at one game, you got to pick one. You potentially go with Sol Campbell,
Yeah.
but I just don't think over the
You can't compare the...
you can't compare it because John Terry's, you know, he's won more, he's done more, he's
As an Arsenal fan, listen,
been
he
more
comes in,
successful.
so we win the double with Adams. Adams retires. Colo comes in, he leads that defence to an invincible. So
yeah.
even in that short space of time,
yeah.
he
Top-
had his
top in
moments.
the
Champions
short-
League final, that result goes differently. He scores the goal.
We look at it
He
differently.
scores a goal.
International, he scored a couple goals
Mate,
for
imagine
England.
that sliding doors moment. If two sliding doors moments.
Yeah.
Sol Campbell scored a goal in Paris to stop where Arsenal could have been London's first team to win the Champions League. Didn't go their way primarily because of Lehmann. Then for England, 98, he scores that goal that in theory should have taken England through in Saint Etienne.
Yeah.
A perfectly good goal. Shearer, it was ruled out for a Shearer foul.
And I think that's why we'd look at it as him.
Imagine.
He would be better than he would. I'd take him over John Terry in that if that was
those
the
two
case.
things
I do
had
think
changed.
Well, those things didn't happen, so I think we've got to
Euro
go John Terry.
2000, if I'm not mistaken, he was in team of the tournament or World Cup 02. One of them, he was in team of the tournament at international level too.
Yeah. No, he was. There's no doubt that he was amazing.
It was just the longevity that.
I think that's it. Yeah,
That's where.
Like, in his prime, he was top.
Yeah.
top defender.
Yeah, it's true. All those moments. The Portugal one in 04 as well.
I think a big thing as well when you look at him, he would be very well set to play today.
Yeah, both.
I
of
think
us.
that the importance of today, the fullbacks going inside, going wide, going high, having that ability to deal with the wide space is something that he would excel at. Yeah. So you look at, we spoke about Virgil van Dijk, how dominant he is 1v1. Sol Campbell is equally as dominant. So would equally be good in this era today.
Yeah. It's weird, isn't it? Why is he so underrated, Flav?
Just vote. I'm voting John Terry.
Okay.
I'm voting John
Oh,
Terry.
you just want to go straight to a vote, do you? Okay, fair. Right, one vote to John Terry. I also vote for John Terry. Statman Dave?
I was going to vote for Sol just to wind you up, but we'll go with John Terry.
I'll go Sol.
Okay, 3-1. John Terry progresses, which means John Terry versus Vincent Kompany.
It's just got easier, in my opinion.
Go on.
I like Vincent Kompany. I think, he led Man City's, charge into the big leagues in terms of captaincy. But when compared to any of the defenders I think we've mentioned today so far, any of them, I think he loses the argument. Nothing against him, but we're talking about elite defenders here, and he's also one of those elite defenders, but I just feel like there's something he lacks that doesn't make up for the gap in between him or Adams.
I don't even think it's the best City, is it, with him on the side? It's not the best City.
No.
City got better without him.
Yeah.
In a really, really harsh way. Like, fantastic defender, but they won the treble without him.
Yeah.
Which is kind of different to a John Terry that won
Why
the
is he
Champions
not?
League.
What is it? What does Vincent Kompany lack?
Nothing. No, I think he should definitely be in this conversation. Yeah, I don't.
No, he should, but I think he loses every
He's
one.
always the one that's teetering on the edge.
What I'm struggling with here, right, is all of the other players, we've all talked them up before voting them out, right? Whereas Vincent Kompany, immediately we've all
get him out.
Gone rubbish. It's because you're a Man United fan. That's where that's coming from. I'm
surprised with you.
You're surprised.
I'm surprised you did
that.
that.
A little bit disappointed, actually. A little bit disappointed. No, but he was the sort of mainstay through the first part of Guardiola's tenureship. He was consistently brilliant. Big moments, won everything. I just
Do you know? I feel like the reason why we don't have to necessarily talk him up before voting him out is because I think he's done really well to be on the list.
really.
I do.
I'm surprised.
I agree. I think there's players that I put ahead of him on the list.
Yeah, me.
I absolutely loved.
Whereas Tony Adams, I feel like we have to acknowledge the brilliance before voting him out. Whereas Vincent Kompany, I feel like he's already done really well to have his name mentioned on this video. Therefore, we don't need to talk.
And when you look at
my opinion might be well off then.
Probably.
when you look at all these defenders, they was all part of a like a Terry, great defensive unit as a team. Whereas Vincent Kompany, their greatest asset was the attack always, and their defense was never really relied upon at Man City, and that's City tax as well because no one really cares about City. The money came in. Your rival.
It's a real small club as
It doesn't
well.
fit. It doesn't have the same feeling. They've all won pretty much likewise, or if not more
if you
than.
said a memory, if you maybe it's a kind of an iconic thing. If I said a memory
Leicester.
about
Strike against Leicester, for sure.
Yeah, which isn't
It was just consistency of I always felt like it would when Vincent Kompany was playing for Manchester City, similar to Adams. It was almost like you just weren't going to score against them. I think that.
But that was more because they had the ball, right? Not because they were defending.
Yeah.
I think they've become more porous as a barring the treble season, but it was incredible.
Ruben Diaz and I know he's
I think Ruben Diaz.
now.
I think Diaz is better than Vincent Kompany in terms of the player.
Yeah,
I'm obviously
you rate Kompany highly. No, mate,
I'm
you're not
higher
wrong.
than you three. Higher than
certainly
you.
not wrong.
Who would you
Higher
put
than
him
you.
above in the names we've mentioned already?
Sol Campbell.
Yeah, goes without question.
Virgil van Dijk.
No, none of them probably.
Just like Kompany.
No, I just like him. Yeah, he's nice.
Is he a pal?
No, he
He's doing very well as a manager.
Nice geezer.
Right, let's put Kompany to a vote. Kompany or Terry?
Terry.
John Terry.
Okay, so it's Terry unanimous, which means that we're now the fifth and final hurdle. John Terry versus Rio Ferdinand. This is the one. This is the perennial debate. I think the answer is John Terry. I'll go early on this. I feel like the answer is John Terry. I'm taking nothing away from Rio Ferdinand. I think Rio Ferdinand's an icon and clearly the second best centre-half to have operated in the Premier League era. But
No,
he isn't better.
you're wrong there, Rory.
Go on.
6 Premier League titles to 5.
Yeah.
I think
One more.
Rio had the edge over him in terms of speed.
Yeah, no
I'd
doubt.
say playing out from the back as well. I agree with you. I agree with your left
Contest
foot.
that one.
but I think Ferdinand was a better player out from the back.
I just don't.
I think he was a better defender than what we remember as well. I think we think of him as this ball player. He was so good 1v1. We spoke about Sol Campbell, how good he was 1v1, and Virgil van Dijk. Ferdinand was another one, quicker, faster, stronger, more agile than you. And that was something that was like ahead of its time in a sense of that's what we expect centre-backs to be today. He was doing that from when he joined United to when he finished at United. And then before at Leeds, he was also very good at Leeds. There's a longevity to his career, like Terry, but he won more.
See, I would say the longevity argument doesn't necessarily work purely for this reason. What John Terry did in 2005, captaining Chelsea to our first Premier League title, our first title for 50 years, exactly 50 years, is ridiculous. Do you know what happened in those 10 years where Chelsea won another title in 2015? Something truly amazing happened. 2012-13, Rafael Benitez said that Terry was finished. Effectively confined him to the ash heap officially said it was over. 2 years after that, Terry captains Chelsea to another league title, 10 years off the back of the first one, and in that title win, 2015, Terry played every minute of every game that season. 10 years apart with the same manager. I think in terms of longevity, that people don't seem to talk about that record. I don't know if people know that record. 2005, 2015, same captain, same manager. That 15 season, every single minute of every single game.
But United had more success in the period when John Terry was at Chelsea. In that exact period you mentioned there, United won more.
Collectively. He was part of a
but
team.
that's an important part of it because Chelsea weren't a bad team. Chelsea spent a load of money in
They were an
2000.
oil club.
It wasn't John Terry scoring 30 goals a season and being. They had a lot of very, very good footballers.
But he was part. That is something else to mention.
As many.
Threat in the other box. Terry far outweighs Ferdinand. Threat in the other box.
But then we ignore someone
Terry
called
was
Nemanja as well that I would put above both of them.
You put Nemanja
Vidic above them, absolutely.
Vidic above Ferdinand. You would.
Yep. PFA Player of the Year twice.
Yeah.
Only defender to do that. That's not stats. That's nothing. That is the players within the competition voting. I think that's a really, really important thing. 2008, 2009, and then again when United got to the Champions League final in 2012-13. I think that is massive. And we again, he is not fashionable. But he was a better defender, I think, than both of them. I think he was more aggressive than both of them. I think he had an edge to him, but he was also very good on the ball. Similar thing to you talk about John Terry. I think Nemanja Vidic had that as well. He had real quality in possession. And because he stepped away from the game and disappeared, I think we ignore that he was the only defender in Premier League history to do it twice. That's massive.
So you put Vidic over Rio. What about Carvalho? Terry? I assume Terry.
Definitely Terry in that bracket. But Carvalho was a very good player, right, Roy? Like a very good player.
Carvalho, again, you could easily argue.
Doesn't that weaken your Rio Terry argument, though? Because if you're saying that in that partnership...
No, because I'd put both of them above Terry, I think, because the defence was, in my opinion, better. In that period, when United were good, Chelsea were good, I'd say United's defence was better.
I'm just thinking about like what I would want to see at Spurs. And
Sol Campbell?
No, definitely not that. But I think if John Terry would be the answer for me. And I like Rio Ferdinand was obviously incredible, and the fact that these two are final on the list is apt and fair. But I'm just thinking, who would I want? Who would I want to rely on? Who would I want at the centre of it? The leadership.
Yeah. They didn't lose at home for 86 games. Which captain?
The only
86 games.
There was so much that went into that. It's not that John Terry played a part.
But when you're
these
the captain,
collective goals have been attributed to individual performance. We need to.
I think when you're the captain of a team that succeeds, you deserve a huge amount of credit.
But so was Ferdinand. So was Vidic. They rotated the captaincy around, right, in Man United, because there were so many leaders there. So we can't make that point of there's one leader and that's it.
There were so many leaders at Chelsea, but it was still Terry.
But
Chelsea were a team built on international captains.
But it were different because it was one player, right? Ferguson rotated it for a reason of evolving the team
because
and
he believed
the squad. Because he believed in different things. And that's not saying that Rio Ferdinand, if, for example, he was at Chelsea, wouldn't have been Chelsea captain for the entire time Terry was. From a leadership perspective, because he obviously captained United.
Capello picked Terry over Ferdinand.
But Capello, how successful was he as England manager?
Not the point.
He
got the job because he clearly knew football and he picked.
Oh no, I don't disagree with that, and I understand that, but it's the way that John Terry leads is very. It's easy to see. It's something you can see, whereas there is intangibles in.
If John Terry and Ferdinand were in the same team, who would be captain?
Ask Capello. Capello picked Terry.
It would be Terry.
It would be Terry. Well, it was. Well, it literally was Terry.
Yeah.
they were in the same
I'm
team.
I'm telling you, I would as well as Fabio.
You agree? Yeah. No, but it literally was Terry. Whenever they played together for England, it was Terry.
It's Terry.
Let's have a vote.
Terry.
Flav?
Terry.
Nemanja Vidic.
And in the purposes of the game,
Ferdinand.
Terry. Which means I think that we put this to the public, rather than doing it in Turkish's weird way that seems to benefit him every time.
But obviously we get the public to vote this, but who would you have in your team right now?
And that's what made my decision for me, because I actually think I look at what we got now. I think Gabriel's been the better defender over the last year, but I prefer the William Saliba type for modern day football. And then I'd liken Rio to a William Saliba type more so. I'd liken John Terry to a Gabriel type. 10 years ago, 15 years ago, I'm going John Terry type all day. But modern football entails difference. You don't need to put your head on the line anymore.
Terry robbed, but it is a stalemate. Right, there we have it. We can't decide. We need you to comment below and let us know who is the best defender in the Premier League era. Is it John Terry or is it Rio Ferdinand? So let us know in the comments, and remember to click the link in the description to be in with a chance of winning the jackpot in Final One Standing. Thanks again for watching WHFC. If you'd like to watch us crown the greatest Premier League manager of all time, click the video that's on screen now. This show was brought to you by William Hill. 18+, please gamble responsibly.